Ooh, a little red lentil dhal. That's what's in store tonight. Nice, quick, easy, plant-based, super powerful bowl of goodness. Flavor, warms the soul, and it's going to be in a bowl or on a plate in a few minutes. So nice and easy, loaded with protein, loaded with fiber, a little bit of extra fuel as well. There's some carbs in there from the lentils. They're such a little powerhouse of all sorts of things, protein, fiber, and carbs all rolled into there. And that's what's the base of a dhal. And it's got loads of flavor from spices and herbs and all sorts of things. You can have it as a meal on its own. You can serve it with a little bit of rice. You can use it as a side as well. It's quite a great thing just to bank into your recipe book. So swipe in, guys. Let me know who's all here. It's Wednesday night. It's Jeff Cook again. And for our challenge peeps, it is your last week of this round of challenges, which is epic. Hopefully they've been going well. Hopefully we've got a few of our spring into summer challenges. I can see the very first comment that comes in is from Auntie Pat, who is on our challenge. Hi, Auntie Pat. Nice to see you. We've also got a few of the corporates with us, hopefully. So BioPlus, you're in your third week. Dimension Data, first week kicking off. So let me know if there are any Dimension Data peeps in the house tonight. It'll be good to say how's it to you guys. Most of the challenges wrap up this week, and you have seen everything that's been launched out for our next week as well. We've got an amazing one-on-one special going at the moment. Because we are 3 weeks or 3 months away from the end of the year. So now's the time to dial everything in, get your ass into gear so that come Christmas, you're not trying to play catch up. Don't wait for it. Get it done now. Olga, how's it going? Charmaine, good evening. Just popping in to say hi. You couldn't wait. You made it tonight, and it's been absolutely delicious. Thank you for testing it for us, Charmaine, and giving us the thumbs up that it works. Pat loved my video with Kate. Is that the video? You mean the little skydiving reel that's just been posted? Which, if you want a little chuckle, you can go have a look at Kate's mouth on the way down. She's getting some serious wind action. I was trying my best to keep my mouth shut because the amount of air that goes into your mouth is ridiculous when you jump out of an aeroplane. But for a little laugh, we had a practice run because this weekend we're out there again at Wellington at the jump base there. And our workouts, Kate and I are wrapping up this week's sessions with our Saturday workouts out there. So pop into Instagram and go check it out. It was quite a laugh. I'm glad it made your day as well, Pat. Olga's excited for this recipe. You started a bit good. Olga, how far are you? How is it going? What's your kitchen smelling like? I've got all of the ingredients under my nose, which we'll get to in a second. And they ingredients and smells and aromas that I love. Some of them, Gria actually did a beautiful little curry for us last night or the night before. Can't really remember. I mean, walking into the house and just getting that hit of spice just makes your tongue kind of want to get stuck in and start salivating, particularly these sort of blends of things, all the aromatics and herbs and spices. It's lovely. Lisa, this is one of your favorites. Beautiful. Michelle, hello. Yes, we've got a Team DD member here. Dylan, fantastic. Welcome. Is this your first cook? It might be if you're new into the sort of Jeff routine of things, which is fantastic. We've also got Shani joining from Team Dimension Data. Loving it. Chafing the Dream. Is that your team name? Super. Nicole's here and in the background. Angela, how are you? Beverly, nice to see you guys all again. Suen, how's it going? Caitlin, you're going to have to make this another night. You're swiping me to say hi without a drink in hand. Caitlin, you've taken this challenge very seriously, and that's what makes me happy. We've had 3 cooks in a row now where you haven't had a drink in your hand. So those are little wins, little milestones you can chalk off and chuck some high fives. this weekend. I'm sure there might be a little G&T or a glass of wine or something that'll go down quite well. Fabiola, how's it going? Anita, good evening. Olga, your kitchen's smelling amazing. The lentils are in, and you love coriander and cumin. Good stuff, Dylan. It is your first one. Fantastic. Good man for joining us here. Lee, looking forward to seeing the end result. Cool. So, hopefully you had a look at the overlay that went up before we started. If we can get it looking something like that, it'll be great. When you get a bit of time and things on your side to do some food styling, it always looks a little bit better. The important thing is what it tastes like. Caitlin, you are proud of yourself. Beautiful. Lychee martini this weekend, nogal. Sure. So we're going all out. Why not? So let me run you through the ingredients. If there's any prep that you need to do, we'll start cooking in 2 minutes time. You can see our beautiful overhead shot there. And nice and simple. Everything's right here in front of me. We've got 300 grams of red lentils. We get all sorts of different lentils and different types of dhal that you can make essentially based on the type of lentil that you use. Red lentils are just the quickest to cook, which is great. So they'll literally cook in about 15 minutes, which is super. If you're using a brown one, it's just going to take a little longer to cook. We've got 1 onion that's nicely chopped. You put that right up in there. There we go. That's chopped. I've got 3 cloves of garlic. That's also nicely chopped. Cool. Then I've got about a thumb of ginger, and there was turmeric spice on the thing. I was lucky enough to find a little fresh root of turmeric, so I actually grated some fresh stuff. But the typical recipe, you'll use dried, ground turmeric. But that's a smell it's slightly different to the dried stuff. There's a little bit of sweetness to it, which is great. You still get that earthy turmeric sort of flavor, and you get the color. I had it grated with a couple of gloves on just so that it goes everywhere and it'll just make everything yellow. But if you ever get sort of fresh turmeric root, it's lovely and adds a nice kind of flavor to it. Then we've got a teaspoon each of our spice mix, which was cumin, coriander, and garam masala. So that's those 3 spices. We've got some reduced fat coconut milk. Now the reduced fat is slightly less creamy, but you get the flavor without all the calories. So a bit of a trade-off. You can use it a little bit more and not worry too much. And then a can of tinned or a can of tomatoes. I like using the whole ones because the flavor's a little bit better on the whole tomatoes. What I did just a minute before this, I tipped this out into a blender, just blended it up. So essentially I've got my own pureed tomatoes now, but I've got all the flavor from the good stuff, which is the whole tomatoes. So I just find that compared to like the diced tomatoes in a tin, the flavor is just a little bit nicer. Okay. Then some coriander, fresh coriander that'll go on at the end, and a little squeeze of lemon juice. Just the acid's going to tie everything together and bring those flavors together beautifully. Pan, a little bit of cooking oil, and we'll be ready to go. Nice and easy. Diane, how's it going? Terence Swales is here as well. Beautiful. So, hopefully you've got everything together. We're going to start cooking. First thing we're going to do is rinse the lentils. Okay, so in a sieve or a colander, just under some running water, just for a second. Just going to rinse those. So that just gets rid of any gunk that might be in there, any little bits and pieces. And I'm just going to let that drain for a second. Okay, so then we've got a medium high heat pan, and whatever cooking oil you want to use. I'm going to use some coconut oil. It's the de-flavored neutral taste one. I don't really want a flavor from it. If you've got canola oil, you can use that if you want. If you want to use some olive oil, whatever it's fine. We can use about a tablespoon of that. You'll know that this is a very low-fat dish. Okay, there isn't really much in the way of fat. So the cooking oil is going to be one source of it, and then our coconut milk, but it's the reduced fat one. So once you divide this out into all the different portions, there's not much left there. So just a little bit of oil and our chopped onions. Gonna go. Okay. Give that a little bit of a stir around. Okay. So the onions go in first, and they're going to get a few of the other aromatics, and then the spices. You want to get your spices going in up front instead of too late here. They play quite nicely when there's a little bit of fat and heat. It just kind of opens them up. So you get a lot richer, deeper flavor if you get those dried spices in nice and early. Olga says, "Ooh, coconut oil would have been lovely in there." Selma, you here? Looking forward to this dish. Thanks for joining us. Lauren and De Freitas, hi, hi, hi. Olga Greer's in the background, dolling herself up for a little night with the girls. So she's mincing about. I'll tell her you say. Anarine swiping in to join us all. You can't join in the cooking. You have a dismantled kitchen. So for tonight, I've brought out the camping stove. Just so I don't have to turn my back on you guys and cook behind me. So this is a deconstructed cooking area for tonight. So don't want that too hot and to burn the onions. Okay, that's in. And then I'm going to go in with my ginger, turmeric, and garlic. Right, it's going to bang them all in. And now as soon as those hit the pan, you're going to get those aromas. It's going to smell great. It's going to start making you hungry. And you'll see the color all of a sudden, that turmeric's doing its thing and taking over. Okay, make sure you're stirring it around because your garlic can burn pretty quickly if it gets too much heat. So you start with the onions, they need a little bit longer. You don't want your garlic to have too much time with a high heat because it can burn. All right, then my spice mix. So remember, we've got a teaspoon of each ground cumin, ground coriander, and garam masala. When making a curry or something of this nature, don't be afraid of getting those spices in. A good sort of amount of them, and particularly with things that need a bit of flavor. So the lentils are going to soak up that flavor when we get them into the pan here with it. They want it, otherwise it's a bit bland. We don't want that. Okay, just going to let that soften off for another minute or so, and then we're going to add our lentils. We need some stock as well. It wasn't in front of me. It's on the stove behind me, just keeping warm. So if you're making it from a cube or a powder, 3 teaspoons or 3 cubes with 3 cups. What I'm going to do, Olga, let me know if yours turned out a little bit runny if you did it in advance. I just was a bit wary of adding it all. But it will cook off and the lentils are going to absorb a lot of that liquid. So we're just going to add about 2 cups and we'll keep the other cup to see how we're going at the end. Annalise saying hi to all of the Jeffers. Beautiful. Nicole's loving the camping stove. I'm just practicing. I've got a little bit of leave up my sleeve. In 2 weeks' time, we're going to be camping. So just getting in the spirit of things and practicing. Thank you, Olga. Olga says you must have fun tonight, Greer. Nancy, hello. Hump Day Wednesday. Yes, it's all downhill from here. Talita is checking in. Lisa, 3 cups should be good. Are you also ahead of the curve there with it? We should be all right. Okay, so I want to get my lentils in there. So we've rinsed them. Just let them drain. I want them to pick up some of the flavors that are in the pan. Get a little bit of those spices. It's smelling pretty good. Just give it a good stir around. Similar to kind of what you do with risotto. So as you fry it off a little bit, get a little bit of extra texture and flavor onto the rice kernel before you get all the liquid in. But this isn't as fussy as that. We don't have to worry too much about stirring and adding scoop by scoop our liquid. All right. Okay, so that's going. Turn it up a little bit. And then my tomatoes are going to go in and my vegetable stock, and that's the liquid. It's going to bring it to heat and it's going to bubble around. Olga, yours is perfect. You reduced the coconut milk a bit. That's a good way. You just handle that kind of depending on your, because the coconut milk goes in at the end, just based on how long you've cooked it for. You can just let it cook a little bit longer and reduce off, so that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to put in my tin of tomatoes. That's going to help us get the bottom of the pan. There might be a few sticky things going on there, but that's all the flavor. So it's the onion, it's the garlic, it's the ginger that might just stick to the bottom of the pan. So make sure with the tomato now when you put the stock in, that we pick that all up, because we want that coming back up into the rest of the dish. Else the flavor just sits all in the base of the pan. Okay. So this is my 3 cups of vegetable stock. And that'll be going in. Okay, and I'm just going to bring that to a simmer and let it do its thing for the next 10 minutes or so. All right. Looking good. Smells pretty good. What is your guys' kitchen smelling like? Okay, most stocks do have a bit of salt in them, will be fairly high salt. So what we'll do is once it sort of starts cooking a bit, we'll taste it before we want to season it with any additional salt. So it might be all right as is, but that's why it's important to taste. Okay, loads of good color going on here. You can see got little bits and pieces of everything. All sorts of things, which is great. A little smell. It smells good. All right. Good stuff. Olga, Annalise, just saying hi. Nancy, how are you? What are healthy option sides for this dhal? Great question, Sarah. So pretty much anything can go with it if we get our portion right. So you can have it on its own as is. Just with a little bit of a sort of a vegetable-based side. So you could do something like a little bit of chopped onion, tomato, and coriander, and do sort of a little sultry kind of side. If you want to keep it very light and lean, you could do some rice. So behind me on the stove, I have a little bit of rice cooking. That's obviously going to increase the amount of energy that you get from it. Just depends on your goals a little bit. You could also just do some cauli rice. So you've seen us do that a few times. Get out the cauliflower, give it a great nice high heat and a flash fry, and it's just going to bulk up your dish a little bit. You can also use this as your side because it's going to provide you a little bit of extra protein and some fiber and some carbs. You could actually do it with a meat-based dish if you want to. So quite often it does get served as a side if you're having another curry, for example, something that's meat-based, and you can have that with your dhal. So it's quite versatile in that way. You could also go have a look at our app for our protein flatbreads. So 2 ingredient flatbreads, our self-raising flour and some yogurt rolled into some flatbreads. I did some bagels with them the other day as well. But something like that would be a nice sort of textural component to it as well. You can have a nice little sort of bit of bread with it. Quick and easy. You could literally, while this is boiling, must probably do them. So grab a little bit of yogurt, grab a little bit of self-raising flour, roll them together, fry them off, and you'll be ready to go. Super simple. Right. So hopefully that gives you a couple ideas for what it can go with. Ava's a little bit late. Miss probably just topping up the whiskey glass there, Ava. Not a problem. Nice of you to pop in. It's a pleasure, Sarah. Kath, also running late, but you're here. So Pinelands, there must be a lot of things going on there. It runs a little bit late out in Pinelands today. But glad you guys could join us. Right, so just give it a stir depending how hot your pan or pot is. You just don't want it sticking to the bottom. Mine is a little bit because it's quite hot. Okay, and we're just gonna mix that around. So behind me, just want to check on my rice. Okay, so that's going. Now the thing, also just a comment on why rice or actually something like a flatbread would work. Lentils on their own, they're a great source of protein, but they're not complete. And by that, it's a term that we use to say it doesn't have all the amino acids, all the things that we build together to make a complete source of protein, which our animal proteins do. So a good way to counter that and make sure we're getting all the building blocks from a plant-based meal or diet is to combine a legume like lentils with a grain of some kind. So rice would serve that purpose. The flour in the flatbreads that I mentioned, they provide the types of amino acids that are missing in lentils. So it's a good way to combine two different sources in one dish, and then we've got a nice a complete meal with it, which is great. And you can always bulk it up with a little bit of added veg, if you need, all depending on your goals. So this portion in front of me here, we must probably going to get, or we do get about 4 servings out of it. And that for me is just going to go with a little bit of rice and it'll be magic. Okay, so give it a taste. If you're going along with us, it's going to be a little bit hot. We just want to check seasoning so we can change anything that we need to. Ooh, lovely. The spices are all there. That garam masala gives it a good, it's kind of a little spicy one, which is lovely. The lentils are actually already pretty close to being cooked. Just a little bite in them. Depending how you want, I still want a little bit of a bite. You can let them go and they just end up being a little bit extra mushy, but that's all on your preferences. So it's not going to be far off actually being ready. I'll give it another couple of minutes. We'll pour in a little bit of our coconut milk. Actually, the thing that's going to keep me from being ready here is the rice behind me. So give it a taste and see what it's like. For me, I don't want to add anything else. The salt's in there, and it's tasting pretty good, actually. Annalise giving it a little high five or a wave there. Christelle's just checking in. Not drinking shipping either. Is that code for something? I don't know. Andy says it's all perfect in pints. Can't catch us. You guys are always ahead of the curve there, just around the bend, not far from us. Yeah. Doctor's advice. All right. I hope you are all right. A cup of tea or maybe just a little bit of water on ice. That's good enough. Keep the hydration up. Dylan, the 3 cups of stock seems a lot. For me, it's been perfect. So you can see, have a look here, what it's kind of cooked to. If I pull it across, you'll see how the lentils have absorbed most of that. So if you had 300 grams of your lentils, it looks like your 3 cups is going to be perfect. Okay, so that's what's gone in here. So looking pretty good. Okay, the rice is getting close as well. Pat, yellow spippy dhal is a staple in the Indian homes. Yes, exactly. So just a slightly different legume compared to a lentil, so using yellow peas that are split, and also cooked nice and quickly, and fantastic. Beverly, can I use yogurt in place of the coconut milk, or will this change the flavor? It will change the flavor, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So I wanted to keep this a vegan version of something that we were going to cook together, but you can definitely put some yogurt in. So the trade-off, yogurt to the coconut milk, a bit more protein in the yogurt. Might be a little bit, well, it will be a little bit creamier because coconut milk's quite thin. So with the yogurt, you get the added value of slightly better sort of source of protein, which is great, a little bit less fat. The coconut milk, all you're getting there is a little bit of liquid, a little bit of fat, and that coconut flavor. So use either one. It's fine either way, Beverly. All right, everyone looking good. Hopefully you've given it a taste and it's on track. Depending how salty your stock was, you might just need to season it with a little bit of salt. Okay. I'm going to pour in my coconut milk. All right, so we want about a cup of coconut milk, but just base that on how thick your dhal is looking at the moment. So like mine, like this, like a cup looks like it's going to be top end of where we want it, but we'll just pour it bit by bit. Okay. Remember, it's also going to carry on thickening as we wait for the rice to cook. Okay. Whoa, and that makes it just lovely and creamy and voluptuous. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to give that a stir. Lisa often adds some spinach. Actually, I opened the fridge today, and most often, or more often than not, I've got some baby spinach kicking around there. And I thought of that. I thought it would go quite nicely with it. So it's another way that you can bulk it up without adding extra energy, extra calories. And Lisa's done it for us before and says some baby spinach works fantastically. So let's do that. I've got some in the fridge. If you've got some in the fridge, you can do it. I'm going to get a little bit of rice, a little bit of baby spinach, a little bit of dhal, and now it's also it looks great. We're adding a little bit of extra color in there. It'll be fantastic. Okay, so just going to let that sit, and we're going to cut a lemon. Last thing that we're going to add, and you'll see me do that quite often. I often say the last element in a dish and something that often we miss, and it just brings some flavors together and elevates it, is acid. So things like a little bit of vinegar or lemon juice. You don't always taste the lemon, but it brings out all the other flavors that are in there. So just going to give a good squeeze, some lemon juice. Okay, and then give it a stir, and then get ready to plate. In an ideal world, I'd take my rice off and give it a little bit of time to steam, but he's let it steam down at the back there. So let's have a quick check on that. How's all of your guys looking? Hopefully good. Yeah. Ooh, that coconut milk. It's delicious. Really like that. Yeah. So, there you go. That's my rice. Done. You don't have to do it with the rice, obviously. Oh, I was a bit harsh on him. He's perfectly ready. All right. So, we're going to get ready to plate. Dhal should be all right. Just give it a taste. Make sure there's a little bit of a bite. But otherwise, you can just keep cooking it a little bit until it's at the point that you like it. Perfect. Lisa, for you, a little bit of baby spinach. Put that on the bottom. Gonna get a scoop of rice. We'll go on over here. Okay. It's even quicker than, what are we? 20 minutes in, guys. How's that? For a quick and easy dinner. Okay. Jamie Oliver would be proud. We'd make one of his cookbooks, I reckon. Okay. That's that. And a little bit of coriander. Depends which side of the fence you sit on coriander. We love it. So that's all in there. So, guys, that is our beautiful red lentil dhal, a little bit of rice and coriander, and baby spinach, because Lisa's a legend and told us that it works. It was quick, it was easy. Everything that we need is in there. It's a complete dish. It's portion controlled, so you'll know that we get away with pretty much most of our food choices if we get our portions right. We've got protein, we've got fiber, we've got a little bit of fat, and everything's there. It's great. We've got extra. We can stick it in the fridge and add it to lunch or dinner tomorrow as well. And it works. We've done a little bit of meal prep, which is a great way to go about it. Loads of flavor as well. Tongues dancing with all the little spices and things going on there. I'm quite happy about that and going to tuck in. So, guys, hopefully yours is looking and smelling as good as Michelle's as well. Post a pic, put it onto Jeff Nourish, tag me, and send it into your challenge accountability groups as well. Let everyone know how good it was. You guys have absolutely smashed it, and hopefully it's one that you're going to enjoy. So, a quick check out to everyone. Lisa often adds spinach to this. I've already read that, but thank you for the recommendation. Olga, delicious. Thank you as well. Michelle, enjoy it. Brilliant, guys. Hopefully that was quick, easy, tasty, ticking all the boxes, and you've got your Hump Day Wednesday off to a good finish, really. Join us on Saturday for our workout, Kate and I. We're going to have loads of fun. If you're on the fence with any challenges, go check them out, see which one's for you. Make sure you jump at something before anything closes up there. And for the rest of the month as well, we've got an amazing one-on-one offer going. So 3 months, guys, dial it in because it's 3 months away from Christmas. All right. Have a fabulous evening, guys. Thanks for joining us, and I will see you all next week for another Jeff Cook. Cheers.